Two households, both alike in dignity, in fair Verona where we lay are seen. From ancient grudge break to new mutiny, where civil blood makes civil hands unclean. From forth the fatal loins of these two foes, a pair of star-crossed lovers take their life, whose misadventured piteous overthrows doth with their death bury their parents' strife. The fearful passage of their death-marked love and the continuance of their parents' rage, which but their children's end naught could remove, is now the 2 hours' traffic of our stage, the which, if you with patient ears attend, what here shall miss, our toil shall strive to mend.
Music to hear. Why hearest thou music sadly? Sweets with sweets war not, joy delights in joy. Why lovest thou that which thou receivest not gladly, or else receivest with pleasure thine annoy? If the true concord of well-tuned sounds by unions married do offend thine ear, they do but sweetly chide thee who confounds in singleness the parts that thou shouldst spare. Mark how one string, sweet husband to another, strikes each and each by mutual ordering, resembling sire and child and happy mother, who all in one pleasing note do sing, whose speechless song, being many, seeming one, sings this to thee: thou single wilt prove none.
You juggler, you canker blossom, you thief of love. What? Have you come by night and stolen my love's heart from him?
Fine in faith. Have you no modesty, no maiden shame, no touch of bashfulness? What, will you tear impatient answers from my gentle tongue? Fie, you counterfeit, you puppet, you!
Puppet? Why so? Aye, that way goes the game. Now I perceive she hath made compare between our statures. She hath urged her height, and with her personage, her tall personage, her height forsooth, she hath prevailed him. And have you grown so high in his esteem, because I am so
Dwarfish?
Dwarfish. How low am I, thou painted maple, speak! How low am I? I am not yet so low, but that my nails can reach unto thine eyes!
Oh, I pray you, though you mock me, gentlemen, let her not harm me. I would never was cursed, I have no gift at all in truishness. I am a right maid for my cowardice, let her not hurt me. You perhaps may think because she is something lower than myself that I can match her.
Lower, hark again!
Oh, good Hermia, do not be so bitter with me. I evermore did love you, Hermia, did ever keep your counsels, never wronged you. Save that in love unto Demetrius. I told him of your stealth into this wood. He followed you for love, I followed him. But he hath chid me hence and threatened me, to strike me, spurn me, nay, to kill me too. And now so you will let me quiet go? To Athens I will bear my folly back and follow you no further. Just let me go. You see how simple and fond I am.
Why get you gone? Who is it that hinders you?
A foolish heart that I here leave behind.
You mistress, all this coil is long of you. Nay, go not back.
I will not trust you, I. No longer stay in your cursed company. Your hands are quicker for a fray. My legs are longer, though, to run away.
Oh, I am amazed and know not what to say.
I know you all, and will a while uphold the unyoked humor of your selfishness. Yet herein will I imitate the sun, who doth permit the base contagious clouds to smother up his beauty from the world, that when he please again to be himself, being wanted, he may be more wondered at by breaking through the foul and ugly mists of vapors that did seem to strangle him. if all the year were playing holidays. To sport would be as tedious as to work. But when they seldom come, and they'd wished for to come, nothing pleaseth but rare accidents. So when this loose behavior I throw off, and pay back the debts I never promised, by how much better than my words I am? By so much shall I falsify men's hopes. And like bright metal on the sullen ground, my reformation, glittering over my faults, shall show more goodly and attract more eyes than that which hath no foil to set it off. I'll so offend to make offense a skill, redeeming time when men think least I will.
Caesar! 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 Caesar!
Huh? Who calls? Who is it in the press that calls on me? I hear a tongue more shriller than all the music cry, Caesar! Speak. Caesar is turned to hear.
Beware the Ides of March.
What?
Some soothsayers say, beware the Ides of March.
Fellows, look upon Caesar.
What sayest thou now? Speak once again.
Beware the Ides of March.
Ha! They are dreamers. Let us leave them.
Tell me, will you go and see the order of the course?
Not I, Cassius, I'll leave you.
Tell me, Brutus, can you see your face?
No. For the eye sees not by itself, but by reflection.
And it is much lamented, Brutus, that you had no such mirrors as would turn your inner worthiness to your eye, that you may see your shadow. Why, many of the best respect in Rome, except the immortal Caesar, have wished that Brutus had his eyes.
Into what dangers would you lead me, Cassius?
Caesar! Caesar!
What means this shouting? I do fear the people choose Caesar for their king.
Aye, do you fear it? Must I think you would not have it so?
I do, and yet I love him well. Why for do you hold me here so long? What is it that you would impart to me?
Why, I was born as free as Caesar, as were you. Both have fed as well, and we both can endure the winter's cold as well as he. But now this man hath become a god, and Cassius is a wretched creature that must bend his body if Caesar but carelessly nod on him.
Caesar! Caesar!
Another general shout! I do believe these are for some new applauses heaped on Caesar.
Why, man, he doth bestride the narrow world like a colossus, and we petty men must march beneath his huge legs and peep about to find ourselves dishonorable graves. Men are at some time masters of their fate. The fault, dear Brutus, is not in our stars, but in ourselves that we are underlings. Brutus and Caesar. What's in that name, Caesar? Why should it be sounded any more than yours? Write it, it doth sound as well. Say it, it doth become the mouth as well. Weigh it, it is as heavy. Upon what meat has Caesar fed that he is grown so great? Our age is shamed. Rome has lost the noble breed of bloods.
What you have said I will consider.
Well, at least my words have struck the show of fire from Brutus.
The games are done and Caesar is returning.
Aye. As they pass by, pluck Casca by the sleeve, and he will tell you, after his sour fashion, what hath proceeded noteworthy today.
I will do so.
Oh, that's you or yourself.
But love, you are no longer yours, and you yourself here live. Against this coming end you should prepare, and your sweet semblance to some other give. So should that beauty which you hold in least find no determination, then you were yourself again after yourselves to cease, when your sweet issue, your sweet form should bear, who lets so fair a house fall to decay, which husbandry and honor might uphold against the stormy gusts of winter's day, and barren rage of death's eternal cold? Oh, none but unthrift, dear my love, you know. You had a father. Let your son say so.
Fie, fie, unknit that threatening unkind brow, and dart not scornful glances to wound thy king, thy lord, thy governor. It blots thy beauty as frost do bite the mead, confounds thy fame as whirlwinds shake fair buds, and in no sense is meet or amiable. A woman moved is like a fountain troubled, muddy, ill-seeming, thick, bereft of beauty, and while it is so, none so dry or thirsty will deign to sip or touch one drop of it. Thy husband is thy lord, thy life, thy keeper, thy head, thy sovereign, one who cares for thee, and for thy maintenance commits his body to painful labor both by sea and land, to watch the storms by night and the cold by day, while thou liest warm at home, secure and safe, and craves no other tribute at thy hand but love, fair looks, and true obedience. Too little payment for so great a task. Such duty as the subject owes the prince, even so a woman oweth to her husband. And when she is peevish, froward, sullen, sour, and not obedient to his honest will, what is she but a foul, contending rebel and graceless traitor to her loving lord? I am ashamed that women are so simple to offer war when they should kneel for peace, or seek for rule, supremacy, and sway when they are bound to serve, love, and obey. Why are our bodies soft and weak and smooth, unapt to toil and trouble in the world, but that our soft conditions and our hearts should well agree with our external parts? Come, come, you froward and unable worms. My mind hath been as big as yours, my heart is great, my reason haply more. But now I see, our lances are but straws, our strength as weak, our weakness beyond compare, that seeming to be most, which we indeed least are. Then veil your stomachs, for it is no boot, and place your hands below your husband's foot, in token of which duty, if he please, my hand is ready. May it do him ease.
Alas now, pray you, work not so hard. I would the lightning had burnt up those logs you were enjoined to pile. Pray now, set it down and rest you. When this burns, 'twill weep for having wearied you. My father is hard at study. Pray now, rest yourself. He's safe for these 3 hours.
Oh, most dear mistress, the sun will set before I shall discharge what I must strive to do.
If you'll sit down, I'll bear your logs the while. Pray, give me that. I'll bury it to the pile.
No, precious creature, I had rather crack my sinews, break my back, than you should such dishonor undergo while I sit lazy by.
It becomes me as well as it does you, and I should do it with much more ease, for my goodwill is to it, and yours is against it.
Oh.
You look wearily.
No, noble mistress, 'tis fresh morning with me when you are by at night. I do beseech you, chiefly that I might set it in my prayers. What is your name?
Miranda. Oh, my father, I have broke your hest to say so.
Admired Miranda. indeed the top of admiration, worth what's best to the world. Full many a lady have I eyed with best regard. Many a time the harmony of their tongues brought into bondage my too diligent ear. For several virtues have I liked several women, never any with so full soul, but some defect in her did quarrel with the noblest grace she owed, and brought it to the foil. But you, oh you, so perfect and so peerless, are created of every creature's best.
I do not know one of my sex. No woman's face remember, save from my glass mine own. Nor have I seen more that I may call men than you, dear friend, and my dear father. How features are abroad, I am skilless of. But by my modesty, the jewel in my dower, I would not wish any companion in the world but you. Nor can imagination form such a shape beside yourself to like thereof, but I prattle on something too wildly, and my father's precepts I bear and do forget.
I am in my condition, Miranda, a prince. I do think a king. I would not so, and would no more endure this wooden slavery than to suffer the flesh fly blow my mouth. Hear my soul speak. The very instant that I saw you did my heart fly to your service. There resides to make me slave to it. And for your sake, am I this patient log man?
Do you love me?
Heaven, oh earth, bear witness to the sound, and crown what I profess with kind event if I speak true. Hollowly invert what best has boded me to this mischief. I, beyond all limit of what else in the world, do love, prize, honor you.
Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date. Sometimes too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often is his gold complexion dimmed, and every fair from fair declines, by chance or nature's changing course untrimmed. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of the fair thou owest, nor shall death brag that thou wanderest in its shade, when in eternal lines to time thou growest. So long as men can breathe or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee.
How's it with you, my lord?
Well, my good lady, no hardness to dissemble. How do you, Desdemona?
Very good, my lord.
Give me your hand. This hand is moist, my lady.
It hath felt no age, it hath known no sorrow.
This argues fruitfulness and liberal heart. Hot, hot and moist. This hand of yours requires a sequester from liberty, fasting, and prayer. Much castigation, exercise devout, for here's a young and sweating devil here that commonly rebels. 'Tis a good hand, a frank one.
You may indeed say so, for 'twas that hand that gave my heart away.
A liberal hand. The heart of old gave hands, but our new heraldry is hands, not hearts.
I cannot speak of this. Come now, your promise.
What promise, Chuck?
I have sent bid to Cassio. Come speak with you.
I have a salt and sorry room offends me. Lend me thy handkerchief.
Here, my lord.
That which I gave you.
I have it not about me.
Not?
No, indeed, my lord.
That's a fault. That handkerchief did an Egyptian to my mother give. She was a charmer and could almost read the thoughts of people. She told her while she kept it 'twould make her amiable and subdue my father, entirely to her love. But if she lost it, or made gift of it, my father's eyes should hold her loathed, and his spirits should haunt after new fancies. She, dying, gave it me and bid me, when my fate would have me wife, to give it her. I did so, and take heed on it. Make it a darling like your precious eye. To lose it or give it way were with such perdition as nothing else could match.
Is it possible?
'Tis true. There's magic in the web of it. A sibyl that had numbered the world, the sun to course 200 compasses, in her prophetic fury sold the work. The worms were hallowed that did breed the silk, and it was dyed in mummy, which the skillful conservative maidens hatch.
Indeed, is it true?
Most veritable. Therefore look to it well.
Then would to heaven that I'd never seen it.
Ha! Wherefore?
Why do you speak so startlingly and rash?
Is it lost? Is it gone? Speak! Is it out of the way?
Bless us.
Say you?
It is not lost, but what and if it were?
How?
I say it is not lost.
Fetch it. Let me see it.
Why, so I can, sir, but I will not now. This is a trick to put me from my suit. Pray you, let Cassio be received again.
Fetch me the handkerchief. My mind misgives.
Come, you will never meet a more sufficient man.
The handkerchief!
A man that all his time has founded his good fortunes on all your love, shared his dangers with...
The handkerchief!
In sooth, you are to blame.
How pay?
If nothing lets to make us happy both but this my masculine usurped attire, do not embrace me till each circumstance of place, time, fortune do cohere and jump that I am Viola, which to confirm I'll bring you to a captain of this town where lie my maiden weeds, and by whose gentle help I was preserved to serve this noble count. All the occurrence of my fortune since hath been between this lady and this lord. All of those sayings will I overswear, and those swearings will I keep as true in soul as that orbed continent, the fire that severs day from night.
Let the bird of loudest lay on the sole Arabian tree, herald sad and trumpet be, to whose sound chaste wings obey. But thou shrieking harbinger, foul procurer of the fiend, augur of the fever's end, to this troop come thou not near. From this session interdict every fowl of tyrant wing, save the eagle, feathered king. Keep the obsequy so strict. Let the priest in surplice white, that defunctive music can, be the death divining swan, lest the requiem lack his right. And thou, treble-dated crow, that thy sable gendered makest, with the breath thou givest and takest, amongst our mourners shalt thou go. Here the anthem doth commence. Love and constancy is dead. Phoenix and the turtle fled in a mutual flame from hence. So they loved as love in twain, had the essence but in one, two distincts, division none. Neither there in love was slain. Hearts remote yet not asunder, distance and no space was seen twixt this turtle and his queen. But in them it were a wonder. So between them love did shine, that the turtle saw his right flaming in the phoenix's sight. Either was the other's mine. Property was thus appalled that this self was not the same. Singled nature, doubled name, neither two nor one was called. Reason in itself confounded, saw division grow together to themselves, yet either neither. Simple were so well compounded that it cried, how true a twain seemeth this concordant one. Love has reason, reason none, if what parts can so remain. Whereupon it made this threne to the phoenix and the dove, co-supremes and stars of love, as chorus to their tragic scene.
My name is Marina.
I am mocked, and thou by some insensate god sent hither to make the world to laugh at me.
Patience, good sir, or here I'll cease.
Nay, I'll have patience. Thou little knowest how thou dost startle me to call thyself Marina.
The name was given me by one that had some power, my father and a king.
How? A king's daughter and called Marina?
You said you would believe me, but not to be a troubler of your peace, I will end here.
But are you flesh and blood? Have you a working pulse, huh? And are no fairy? Motion will speak on. Where were you born, and wherefore called Marina?
Called Marina, for I was born at sea.
At sea? What mother?
My mother was the daughter of a king, who died the minute I was born, as my good nurse Lycorda hath oft delivered weeping.
Oh, stop there a little. This is the strangest dream that e'er doth sleep should mock poor fools withal. It cannot be. My daughter's buried. Where were you born? I'll hear you a little more, even to the bottom of your story, and never interrupt you.
You scorn. Believe me, 'twere best I did give o'er.
I will believe you by the syllable that you shall deliver, yet give me leave. How came you in these parts? Where were you bred?
The king, my father, did in Tarsus leave me, till cruel Cleon and his wicked wife did seek to murder me. And having wooed a villain to attempt it, who having drawn to do it, a crew of pirates came and rescued me and brought me to Mitylene. But good sir, whither will you have me? Oh, why do you weep? It may be you think me an impostor. No, good faith, I am the daughter to King Pericles, if good King Pericles be.
Now is the winter of our discontent made glorious summer by this son of York, and all the clouds that lowered upon our house in the deep bosom of the ocean buried. Now are our brows bound with victorious wreaths, our bruised arms hung up for monuments, our stern alarums changed to merry meetings, our dreadful marches to delightful measures. Grim-visaged war hath smoothed his wrinkled front, and now, instead of mounting barbed steeds to fight the souls of fearful adversaries, he capers nimbly in a lady's chamber to the lascivious pleasing of a lute. But I, that am not shaped for sportive tricks, nor made to court an amorous looking glass, I, that am rudely stamped, and want love's majesty to strut before a wanton ambling nymph, I, that am curtailed of this fair proportion, cheated of feature by dissembling nature, deformed, unfinished, sent before my time into this breathing world scarce half made up, and that so lamely and unfashionable that dogs bark at me as I halt by them. Why, I, in this weak piping time of peace, have no delight to pass away the time unless to see my shadow in the sun and descant on mine own deformity. And therefore, since I cannot prove a lover to entertain these fair well-spoken days, I am determined to prove a villain and hate the idle pleasures of these days. Plots have I laid, inductions dangerous by drunken prophecies, libels, and dreams, to set my brother Clarence and the king in deadly hate the one against the other. And if King Edward be as true and just as I am subtle, false, and treacherous, this day should Clarence closely be mewed up about a prophecy which says that G of Edward's heirs the murderer shall be. Dive thoughts down to my soul. Here Clarence comes.
That nature, being sick of man's unkindness, should yet be hungry. Common mother thou, whose womb unmeasurable, an infinite breast teems and feeds all. Your self-same metal, wherefore thy proud child, arrogant man, is puffed, engenders the black toad and adder blue, the gilded newt and eyeless venomed worm, with all the abhorred bursts below crisp heaven, wherefore Hyperion's quickening fire doth shine. Yield him, whom all the human sons do hate, from forth thy plenteous bosom one poor root. Inseer thy fertile and conceptuous womb, but it no more bring out ingrateful man. Go great with tigers, dragons, wolves, and bears. Came with new monsters, whom thy upward face hath to the marbled mansion all above never presented. Oh, a root, dear thanks. Dry up thy morrows, vines, and cloud-torn leaves. Wherefore an ungrateful man, with licorice draughts and morsels unctuous, greases his pure mind. From it all, consideration slips.
Soft, what light through yonder window breaks? It is the east, and Juliet is the sun. Arise, fair sun, and kill the envious moon, who is already sick and pale with grief, that thou, her maid, art far more fair than she. It is my lady. Oh, it is my love. Oh, that she knew she were. She speaks, and she says nothing. What of that? Her eye discourses. I will answer it. I'm too bold. It is not to me she speaks. Two of fairest stars in heaven, having some business here, do entreat her eyes to twinkle in their spheres till they return. See how she leans her hand upon that cheek. Oh, that I were a glove upon that hand, that I might touch that cheek.
Ay me.
She speaks. Oh, speak again, bright angel, for thou art as glorious to this night as is a winged messenger of heaven.
Oh, Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo? Deny thy father and refuse thy name, or if thou wilt not, be but sworn my love, and I'll no longer be a Capulet. 'Tis but thy name that is my enemy. Thou art thyself, though not a Montague. What Montague? It is nor hand, nor foot, nor arm, nor face, nor any part belonging to a man. Oh, be some other name. What's in a name? That which we call a rose by any other name would smell as sweet. So Romeo would, were he not Romeo called, retain that dear perfection which he owes without that title.
Romeo, doff thy name, and for that name which is no part of thee, take all myself.
I take thee at thy word.
What man art thou that thus bescreened in night so stumblest on my counsel?
By a name I know not how to tell thee who I am. My name, dear saint, is hateful to myself because it is an enemy to thee. Having it written, I would tear the word.
My ears have not yet drunk 100 words of that tongue's utterance, yet I do know the sound. Art not thou Romeo and a Montague?
Neither, if either thee dislike.
How camest thou hither? Tell me, and wherefore? The orchard walls are high and hard to climb, and the place death, considering who thou art, if any of my kinsmen should find thee here.
With love's light wings did I o'erperch these walls, for stony limits cannot hold love out.
If they do see thee, they will murder thee.
Alack, there lies more peril in thine eye than 20 of their swords. Look thou but sweet, and I am proof against their enmity.
I would not for the world they saw thee here.
I have night's cloak to hide me from their sight. And but thou love me, let them find me here. My life were better ended by their hate than wanting of thy love.
Thou know'st the mask of night is on my face. Else would a maiden blush but paint my cheek for that which thou hast heard me speak tonight. Fain would I dwell on form, fain deny what I have spoke, but farewell, compliment. Dost thou love me? I know thou wilt say aye, and I will take thy word. Yet if thou swearest, thou mayst prove false. Oh, gentle Romeo, if thou dost love, pronounce it faithfully.
Lady, by yonder blessed moon, I swear.
If we shadows have offended, think but this, and all is mended. That you have but slumbered here whilst these visions did appear, and these weak and idle themes no more yielding, but a dream. Gentles, do not reprehend. If you pardon, we shall mend. And as I am an honest Puck, if we have unearned luck now to scape the serpent's tongue, we shall make amends ere long. Else the Puck a liar call. So, good night unto you all. Give me your hands if we be friends, and Robin shall restore amends.